How's it going, guys? Carson back here with another live stream. This time, I'm going to talk about some things I've been reading this week. Of course, pickups, because even though I'm always talking about downsizing, I just keep picking more things up. So you guys know how that goes at this point. And I got my final CGC package back after probably a year and a half, give or take, wait for these books. I'm very excited to finally share them with you because they've been in my possession for about 2 or 3 weeks now, but I just have not had time to show them on this channel. So I figured let's just go ahead and show the books and talk about them while we do this stream. But before we get started, I do actually have to say hi to some people in the chat. We got Mars Comics. Welcome back to the chat, Mars. He says hello. Saw the kickoff show and now I'm here. Definitely shout out to the Great Legend Show for the Seawood kickoff show. Thanks. So there you go. Thanks, Legend. Really appreciate it. And we got Chris Barrett saying, hey, Ming. I don't know if he's like, hey, Mang, or hey, Ming, as in like Faces of Fear, WCW late 90s Ming. And then a year? Sure, a year. Okay. We'll go ahead and get started with what I've been reading this week. And I'm going to show a few books, and then we'll get to the slabs. So, like I said, unfortunately, nowadays, time seems to be limited. So my reading has been a lot more limited, but I've managed to squeeze in a couple things here and there. So the major read I've done this week was something I talked about last week because I now I got a whole pile of these books, which I've been reading some Secret Wars. I decided to actually just pick up my iPad and read them on Marvel Unlimited, even though I said last week I bought a whole bunch of reader copies. I just ended up reading it on my iPad, but for display sake, we'll just go ahead and hold up this Secret Wars number 8 that everyone knows, because I got some thoughts on kind of this issue in particular, because it's hilarious to me. So this read, I'm only about 10 issues deep out of 12, of course, and I actually need to finish issue 10, so we got about 4 issues to go because the last one's a double size. It's a really fun read. I've actually just sat down and read a whole bunch of it like in a row until it was time to go to bed and get ready for work tomorrow or this morning. But anyway, it's crazy. This specific issue, especially because, you know, as collectors, we hype up this first how Peter got the black costume. And of course, it's probably one of the goofiest reads possible. So throughout the craziness of Battle World, all these heroes and villains have been randomly plucked onto this one Battle World, and whoever wins gets like something big from the Beyonder. You can have your wildest dreams come true, apparently. So all these heroes and villains are just thrown randomly on this world. You can have forts and have super weapons in these forts and stuff, and it was definitely made to sell toys. I think most of, you know, the seasoned readers, collectors kind of know what's going on with the Secret War. I think I got a Kang the Conqueror back there somewhere from this Marvel Superheroes toy line from the 80s. But nonetheless, it's still a lot of fun to read. I haven't read too much from that era of Marvel, to be honest. Like I pretty much read like, you know, your Frank Miller Daredevil stuff. I'm sure there's a few other things I've covered here on this channel, but I've never really got a chance to read 1984 Marvel and Secret Wars. So that being said, I wasn't super lost on a lot of the storylines. The one that took me by surprise the most was like the fact that Rhodey was Iron Man this whole time, and they don't really ever tell you that or allude to that until like, I don't know, like issue 6 or 7. Like he has to like have a repair done on his arm, and it is definitely like not Tony Stark's white arm. It's Rhodey's. It's like, I bet you didn't expect this arm to be black, did you? And they're just, the Hawkeye's like, okay, cool. I'm glad you're here, Iron Man. And it's just, they don't really do much with them otherwise. And the X-Men, they kind of just go into business for themselves during this whole thing. Like they definitely want to get over the fact that the X-Men, the whole general populace of Earth still isn't cool with mutants. And they really have been, let's be honest. But the X-Men here, especially even Xavier, he's just like, I'm not listening to Captain America. They want to put him in charge. That's cool. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to take my X-Men team with me. We're going to go build our own fort and then help out when convenient. And I guess this is really the Professor Xavier is a jerk era of things, because he kind of is a jerk in this. But back to what I wanted to highlight, issue 8. specifically, which, by the way, shout out to Poor Man's Comics. He's always trying to claim the good stuff. So Poor Man's, we'll see. I might let this one go at some point because I do have a couple copies. And then he says, Ming, like Ming, you ready for survey time? And I used to have toothpicks on hand to flick at like guys like Pope Grimy. Hopefully people remember him. He was really awesome. But when he would show up in a chat, I would throw a toothpick. So shout out to Pope Grimy wherever he may be. All right, so this issue, this is how Peter gets the black costume, and more or less there was another issue where Thor, he got his cape and his helmet lost. He got teleported and that didn't, so he lost that. And in this issue, he comes out of like one of the fort rooms with Hawkeye, and he's full dressed to the garbage. This is before like, you know, the MCU could just hold his hammer up and then like Fat Thor would teleport into cool looking Thor at Endgame. He needed his replicator to make his clothes basically. So Peter's like, hey, where'd you get that? My costume's tore up too. And there's like, oh, it's just that room over there. Peter goes in that room over there, like hits like the Pepsi or Dr. Pepper button on the vending machine, and this little black glob drops out, and there you go. That's how he gets the costume. Yeah, $300, whatever his book's worth now. I just died laughing once I read this whole issue. I'm just like, that was it? After all this time, like, amid the chaos comes a costume. Okay, so Peter got his costume. Nonetheless, though, I am having a lot of fun reading Secret Wars. I can't wait to see how it ends. I do have to mention my two favorite characters in this. The ones I feel like are the most well-represented, the most well-written. Reed Richards, of course, like he is the glue holding things together. Like when Hulk, if you look at issue 4, we'll just show that cover real quick. When you see this cover here, which I think is probably one of the coolest ones in the whole run, like Reed Richards is the guy who saves their butts here. Like it's Hulk's doing the heavy lifting, of course, but how they get out of there, you got to read it. You got to see what Reed Richards does, but he's the one with the mind that's going to save them all right here. So Reed Richards, and then of course Dr. Doom. I mean, come on, like it's Secret Wars. I mean, the last 3 covers, I'm assuming he's going to do something cool because this is as far as I've read. I got to read these last 3 issues tonight. He is the highlight of the last leg of all of Secret Wars. So, and the other 9 issues, he has been like the guy that like either is causing all the trouble or they're trying to figure out like, oh, Dr. Doom knows what's going on. We got to like pick his brain to figure out how we're going to get out of this. So really enjoying it. I definitely think there's characters that are really awesome in it. And then other ones like the X-Men, they just don't have the same voices like a Chris Claremont here, I guess I could say. So really enjoying that. And then before I get to my other read, I do want to acknowledge the chat again. We got the Great Legend show. He says, great to see everyone tonight. Once again, shout out to the Great Legend for the Seawood kickoff show. Definitely sub up the Great Legend. Get him to 5K. And at very least, go give him a thumbs up on that kickoff video and all of his other videos too. Maybe one day he might flick the switch on and unretire from the auction scene. You never know. Nice to see the Great Legend. He likes that. I think the cam's in HD tonight just for him. Chris Barrett says, Marvel stole a whole black suit idea just to ruin it like that. Well, like 2 issues before, they introduced a new Spider-Woman who already had the black suit. Oh, and then I forgot to mention, like, all the new characters introduced, they're just literally thrown in. Minimal explanation, but they had a lot to cover in 23 pages per issue. We got Dr. Silver Age. What's going on, man? How you doing tonight? Happy to see you in the chat. And then Legend says, hot ride for Dr. Silver Age. All right, this is my other read, and I'm taking this one nice and slow this time. So I've been trucking through the giant Sandman Neil Gaiman omnibus volume. I got volume 1 and volume 2. I'm thinking about getting to volume 3 before these all skyrocket in price because apparently this is out of print now, which I didn't even know. I was just flipping through it and was thinking about getting volume 3, but doing some eBay research and Amazon research and going and getting it, the price is already going up on volume 3. So I may have just missed the boat on that. But nonetheless, I've been flipping through this because the show Sandman's on Netflix now. And so far, I'm about 6 episodes in, I believe. Pretty much I cut off with the introduction of Death, and great series so far. Really enjoy it. Obviously, if you've read this and enjoyed it, you've probably either watched the show already. If you haven't, just up Netflix for a month. Go ahead and watch it. See what you think. I'm taking the show pretty slowly because I don't just want to binge watch it, absorb it all in like 1 or 2 days, and then just like hop on to the next thing. I really want to take my time and enjoy Sandman. Basically, I think that's what needs to be done with this, and I think that's what needs to be done with the show. So I think that's what happened with me in Stranger Things. Like, I'm already forgetting some of the things that happened in the latest season because I've been rewatching like seasons 1 through 3. And then I was just like, what even happened in like season 2? And now I'm like, oh no, I don't remember what happened in some of season 4 because I just watched most of it in one day. So probably watch at least episode 7 of this tonight. I think there's 10 total episodes. But as I've been watching, I kind of been flipping through the issues as I'm going along. So I pretty much left right off on issue 8 of this and then flip forward to issue 13 because that was what the last episode of the Netflix I watched covered was both issues. That was actually maybe my favorite episode yet because it was very comic accurate to say the least. So really like this hardcover vault. If you can find this affordable, I highly recommend it, but it is starting to heat up quite a bit because of it being out of print while the series launches. I don't understand that whatsoever, but hey, DC Comics, woo! Trying to make a black label probably, who knows? More on that here in a second, actually. Let's see what we got in the chat. Poor Man says, Legends auctions were legendary. Nice pun there. Great Legend says, thanks, Doc. PMC. And Chris Barrett says, people still use Netflix. I thought it was a dead company. Yeah, Stranger Things pretty much just re-ups the interest in Netflix. And then they drop something like Sandman and keeps you on board for a little bit. All right, and we'll go and get into a pickup or two here, and then we're going to talk some slabs, and then we'll finish off with what I picked up this week. So here's a fun one. If you guys are looking for that Batman 608 second print and don't want to pay a fortune for it, there are currently these like DC page punchers on toy shelves, and actually I got this on Amazon, so you can kind of see how this bad boy was shipped. But I decided to go ahead and get the Batman one because the comic in there is probably going to be worth a heck of a lot more than this little guy right here. But nonetheless, as you can see, really cool comic, kind of a neat little figure. Terrible bust-ass packaging. Like, this is the packaging it came in. And all it's holding it together is like, this one I had to put back on already. And then, no, that one, nope, it's already disconnected completely. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to unbox this because it's just, I think all I have to do is like, disconnect the top here. Oh, there's 2 more on top, but nonetheless, hey, look, I only have to open one, and I could probably just slide the thing right out without hopefully destroying it. So, all right, there we go. We got a nice comic that already needs a press because they had no protection there. So, shout out to the Great Legend once again. We got some E. Gerber, My Lights 2, just doing a halfback on this one. So we'll go and get that taped up there. And there you go. Safe and sound compared to this garbage here. So there you go. Look at that beautiful Jim Lee cover. Had I not bought the other one, it's stuck at grading. Otherwise, I'd compare them. But yeah, there are a couple minuscule differences there. If you were to line up and compare the two, like it doesn't have the bullet logo, it has the new logo. It would be the main one. But yeah, probably put that through the press a little bit later. And then we'll save this little guy action figure here, and we'll hide him in the background there somewhere at some point, I'm sure. And there we go. We'll throw that out, get rid of that. And then we got this little Batman right here. So there's the actual page puncher himself. So I'm not going to mess up the blur on my camera. We'll just park him there for now. And there we go. I got a Batman 608 Jim Lee cover, second print, all that fun stuff. And I actually been having a little bit of luck with buying stuff on Whatnot. Now, I'll probably save my thoughts on, buying on Whatnot for next week because I've been buying on Whatnot and I got some stuff on the way. But I did have one order come in at the airing of this video, so I figured I'd go ahead and share it because there's just some randomness in here that I don't see for sale every day. So I got a little excited for that. Legend is asking if on the page punchers, if they have any B-list characters. Not quite yet. They have pretty much... I'm close to Shazam. They have Superman, Batman, and Flash are the main 3. And then, of course, since the movie's coming out, since The Rock's playing him, they have a Black Adam one. So the Black Adam one would most likely be the one you would want. And actually, with the the multiverse line, which is like the big $20, $25 taller figures, which I got a few of back there. They're actually doing a Booster and Blue Beetle 2-pack, which I pre-ordered on Amazon. If you need the link, let me know. I'll send it to you. So they're starting to get into some of those B-list characters in the main McFarlane Multiverse toy line. I think there might be I think there might be a Kyle Rayner Green Lantern, which I might have to pick up if that's out. It might hit Walmart this week. But they need to get more into the B and C list too. I agree. Like, I'm tired of Batman's and Supermans. I want to see my Buddy Baker Animal Man. I'm glad we're getting the Blue Beetle Booster Gold. Adam Strange, that'd be another great one. And pretty much just like the whole like Reign of the Superman. If they did the Reign of the Superman, at least like give my 90s Connor Kent, Cyborg Superman, Eradicator with that giant like drape over cape with the goofy yellow sunglasses. I would buy that whole line. Of course, you got to have Steel in there too. So I would buy all of those. Now we're just naming B-list characters for Catwoman B-list. I'll leave that for the chat to decide. But Calendar Man and Batmite, yeah, they're below that A list, of course. I need that link. Well, I will send that link to you after the stream for sure. So I got this whatnot, and most of these were like, I think I paid $3 for 3 of these, and one of them was a $10 book, but it's not a book you see every day. So I'll save that one for last. First off, got this Wonder Woman issue 40. I believe this was either a 1 in 10 or 1 in 25 Jay Lee variant. Honestly, I wasn't really looking for this. I just had a stack going. I thought it was really cool because these like circa like late 30s, late 40s, New 52 books, like in their ratios, you just don't see anywhere. So I thought that was a cool, harder to find cover. So I threw that in the pile. I always have a soft spot for Mike Turner. So they started throwing up some like con exclusive books that you could only get at like the Top Cow booths or the Aspen booths back in the day when, you know, Michael Turner was still alive, and he would pretty much just do a cover for whatever was out at the time. So I got this Fantastic Four 554. This is pretty much when Mark Millar and Brian Hitch took over the book from, I think J. Michael Straczynski was previously on the book. I think Mark Waid, Straczynski, and then Mark Millar, and then after I think Jonathan Hickman, if I remember my order of writers correctly on FF. But Top Cow did this con exclusive. It may have been like San Diego. Maybe they put up this exclusive. It was probably like a $20 book at their booth back in the day, but it was only $3 off this guy's auction. So I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not go ahead and pick that up? So, of course, you got to put Sue in the forefront when you're Michael Turner, you're sketching. And then here's one I just never thought I'd see anyone ever sell. Heroes Michael Turner cover that was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Now, not the biggest fan of Heroes. I really, really, really like season 1 of Heroes. Like any other season, like maybe the last season was okay, but I really like that first season. So that's probably when this comic came out and a lot of the content that had to do with Heroes came out. But I actually have the Wizard World Chicago exclusive cover signed by Tim Sell and Jeff Loeb, who worked on that issue. I definitely have never seen this Mike Turner cover anywhere. With Mohinder on there. So, and I probably couldn't even find this online for sale on eBay or anywhere else. So had to buy this for $3. That's a no-brainer for sure. And then the last one, let me tilt my camera for a second. There is a Babstar Batgirl print right here that I remember buying from Babstar at a C2E2 a while back. And this was like in the midst of her, you know, Batgirl from Birdside run. And the only way I could get that piece of art there was to get that print. So the 1 in 25, it was a pretty big book for a minute back in the day. But luckily, I was on this guy's Whatnot stream at the right time, and I ended up picking this up for $10. So now I actually have the matching set of the comic and the print. So there we go. Now I just got to get the Babstar signature on there at some point, I suppose. Just like I got it right there. So happy to have that set. The only drawback on this one, there's a little bit of color rub on the side there, but like I said, it was $10 for 1 in 25 that I really enjoy because I like the print over there. So have to get these in better bags and boards though. Not bad bags and boards, but got to at least get this one in that Mylar. So really happy with that purchase. All right, so we're going to go to the chat, and then we're going to talk about some slabs for a little bit. Chris Barrett says, what? No love for Shaq Steele. Even as a kid, I didn't care for that movie. I gotta be perfectly honest. Sorry, Shaquille O'Neal fans out there. I had high hopes for that movie. Like, yeah, we're gonna get a Steel movie, then that's gonna succeed, and then they're gonna do the rest of the characters, and then they're gonna make that Superboy movie with, don't call me Superboy, and then none of that ever happened, of course. We got JLS. What's going on? Jesse says, nice. Can't go wrong with a Turner cover. Thank you for joining the chat. JLS Comics. Legend says, you as a save the cheerleader, save the save the cheerleader, save the world. There we go. Poor man says season 1 and 2 were good. After that, I think season 2, I think, is the one where that's the one with I think they had more time travel with Peter Petrelli, and then he traveled into the wrong future and left his girlfriend there, and then we never saw her again. And then somewhere along the line, Siler turned face for no reason, and it was a mess, a big mess. They overbooked the territory basically. Barrett says you need original art for that. I'm sure someone has bought that 10 times over by now. That would be sweet. That's not going to happen. No, I don't have the bank account for that one. All right, we're going to save that one for last. All right, so got a 9 CGC book submission back. And yeah, we're going to talk a little about it. So basically, these 9 I sent off, probably last June, maybe even May. I did the full 9s on them, got them CCS pressed. This was before I had this bad boy over here. So that's where most of the time went, is just waiting to get pressed. The actual grading time was probably at CGC for only 2 weeks. The other year plus, it was with CCS. So moral of the story, do my own pressing as much as possible so I can get my books back while still remember I own these books. And I know I said 10 in the video description. There is a 10 slab. We're going to save that for last because that was a pickup this week that I was shocked that I was able to pick up because I did not expect that book at that price. So we'll go ahead and just dive in here. I don't think I have these books in any particular order. But I know some of you out there, you came for the ugly grades. Now, I know one of my last videos where I had this, I look like I just ate a lemon and looking at my books, and that was one of my higher rated ones. So I always like to point out the fact now, I'm going to have some terrible grades here so we can have some fun with those, at least get a little bit of my value back out of getting these both pressed and graded. So here we go. We'll start off with a dud here. So I had high hopes for this one too. And I guess, this is probably one of those ones I guess I need to get the micro or the big lens out for this one. So we have Batman 357, double first appearance, Killer Croc and Jason Todd. I actually paid a few bucks for this book. Not too much. I didn't break the bank or anything. But this was not a dollar bin find. I actually did buy it out of someone's glass case in an antique shop. So I had a few bucks into it. But at the same time, I do love me some Batman. I love me some Batman characters. And I plan on keeping this one regardless. So this one was not a resale copy. But it looked good, I thought. Apparently, there's a little bit of rust on the staples and some other things. And I think I have the best looking 6.0. I don't know why this is a 6.0. Apparently, there's staple rust and staining somewhere, and I don't even know what else. I'll have to look at the grader's notes. I see some minuscule spine ticks. 6.0. I at least expected an 8.5. Boy, was I way off, and I just now noticed they probably deducted a lot from the back here. There's definitely that stain, but this is the big eyesore here that I probably just missed because I need to look at the back of my books a little bit better before sending them off to CGC, as we've seen in these past videos. So I didn't even know what that black square was. Apparently, that's just part of the printing of the book. So there we go. 6.0. Oh, no. So there we go. Definitely botched that sending off on that. So we'll just put that off to the side for now. Now we'll go back to a little bit of the medium pace here. We got some Young Avengers action. Now, one may think I'm going to be disappointed in this grade here, and I'm not. And I'll tell you why here in a second. We'll reveal the grade first for you guys. It's an 8.5. So now most modern books you probably want a 9.2 or 9.4 and up. And, with this one, it's no exception. It came out in 2005. It's an excellent read. If you guys actually haven't had a chance to read this and you're just collecting it for the speculation value and all that stuff, get a copy and read this. It's a really good read, even both volumes. We'll talk a little bit more about volume 2 and the pickups But I really like the Young Avengers. I think they're a great team. I kind of do hope they come to the MCU. I mean, most of the characters have already been introduced in one way, shape, or form. But an 8.5 on this book for me actually wasn't too bad because this was a 50-cent fine for me with the sticker on it. You can actually still see right there some of the sticker residue. I was not the presser and cleaner I am now, and I'm still not. I probably might be able to do slightly better job, but I was happy this came back an 8.5. I just didn't want it to come back like a 7.5 or below. So this is pretty much right where I expected this book to be at. It's my only copy I have left, so I just wanted one for the collection. 8.5, yeah, I'm not bummed about that. Not like the Batman 357 there. So all right, we'll keep rolling here. What else we got? We'll go with some Star Wars. People love some Star Wars nowadays, so I decided to go ahead and send this one off. It's apparently the first appearance of Boba Fett. Funny thing is, I guess, there's like that Star Wars magazine. It's got like the orange background. I think Boba Fett's on the forefront of it. It's like the Empire. Or no, it's Darth Vader. It says Empire Strikes Back. That may be credited as the first appearance of Boba Fett or something like that. I don't know. But Star Wars collectors still go crazy over this one. I thought it looked like a pretty sharp copy. 8.0, not too bad. I thought about just sending all of the Empire Strikes Back tie-ins because I pretty much sold off most of my Star Wars, but I kept the Empire Strikes Back because that's by far my favorite of the movies. So at least decided to get this graded because this is definitely the money book of the run. And 8.0 is not too bad. Considering this has more stainage on it than the Batman book. So I don't know why this wouldn't be a 6.0, but in that case, I'm just not going to ask questions. Let's see what else we got. Actually, I don't know if Poor Man's is still in here or not. I know Poor Man's Comics is going to love this next book. And because me and him have been talking about this online for a very long time, like probably like the first year I did this YouTube channel, I think I showed this book. And, I think he had his copy and he saw I got mine. So here's the book I'm talking about. There he is. So I finally, after all this time, got my Ghost book back. This is Superman 50, the second print newsstand edition with the historic engagement issue. So we've been talking about sending this book back for a very long time to CGC. I finally did it on this submission. And it came back at 8.5. I mean, once again, another 50-cent bin grab on a complete ghost of a book. Come back at an 8.5, and I believe, according to the census, there's like less than 20 of these things graded total, I think. Like 8.5 is actually, I think, one of the lower grades on the CGC census, but I think there's like 19. This is the 19th one for Seawood 19. So there you go. Make that a rhyme, I guess. So pretty solid grade for this book, in my opinion. 50 cents. Ghost of a book. I cannot complain about an 8.5. And I've always loved this cover too. I've explained many times. I think I've got every version of this. Talk about how much I like Dan Jurgens' artwork as a kid. This was one of the first Superman comics I bought that wasn't Death of Superman. Basically, this is probably like the first one I bought after reading Death of Superman, collecting all of those. So I've always liked Superman 50 for sure. So happy to have that. This one is definitely not going anywhere for sure in the collection. We'll go a pretty good one next as well. So this is one, it came back the exact grade I thought it was going to. Oh, I gotta get Poor Man ones before I keep going. So he definitely likes the newsstand. All right, I should have said it right the first time. Newsstand. So I got to get that soundbite back. It's on my old computer, which crashed. So need to re-record that or extract it. And I know Great Legend. He loves that. All right, so next up, we got Detective Comics 880, the infamous not Joker, maybe Joker, basically his Joker cover. There's an old Comic Core episode about it somewhere a long time ago in the internet ether. But I always liked Jock, always liked this cover. It's pretty much the run that put Scott Snyder on the map. It came back at 9.6, which I knew this wasn't going to be a 9.8. There's at least like one color breaking spine tick up here by the bats. It sticks out like a sore thumb, even though it is on the white part of the cover. I was happy that it came back exactly what I thought. So this pretty much signifies one of my favorite Batman runs that Scott Snyder started and then extended into the New 52. We all know where that went, of course. And of course, once again, Poor Man's claiming. Great Legend loves that Jock cover. We'll keep rolling here with we'll go some G.I. Joe. I did send one G.I. Joe in this time. And luckily, I've gotten over my bad luck of sending in G.I. Joes. Got a nice 9.2 on the silent issue. So I think I actually have a reader copy and this regular copy. So I might just keep them together. Maybe I sold that one. Crap. Oh, well, I need to find another one. Anyway, happy with a 9.2 on this. The last G.I. Joe, I think I just sent the first one. And it turned out the centerfold just either fell out on the way there or I just missed it. It came back really low. So I was happy to get over a 9 on probably the best issue of G.I. Joe ever published. And there's some good ones. It's not just this one. This is obviously very famous at this point. There's some really good G.I. Joe out there in comic form. But this is probably the best of the best, just reading a lot of this Larry Hama run. So happy to have that in a 9.2. All right, we got a couple Daredevils, but we'll go with the other ugly one at this point. But first, I want to read the chat here. Legend Loves at 9.6, near mint plus. Chris Barrett says, wait, Comic Core is still a thing? I've been collecting unemployment for that like a year and a half. Now keep collecting the unemployment, dude. All right, we're going back to the ugly. So I have officially came up with a theory, like one of these unboxings ago, that CGC sees my name with an X-Men book. They're just saying, no, we don't like that. It's no way we're giving this a good score. And the tradition continues. So I got my first Gambit back, and I knew this one wasn't going to be perfect. It does have some hairline color breaks at the bottom there near Enter the Mutant called Gambit. They don't even show up on camera really. They're that hairline. But there's a few substantial ones down there. And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just now looking at this book and I'm just like, what are they talking about? So I'll have to go look at the grader's notes again. But 6.5, one of the most beautiful 6.5s you ever seen on a book, in my opinion. So apparently rust, staining, I don't know. It's white pages though, even though I thought this was going to be off-white. White pages, first Gambit. So once again, CGC, they don't like X-Men, at least my X-Men. So yeah, happy to have the book though. All right, we got two more in the box. We got another one over there, and then we still got stuff. I was gonna make every time I say this is gonna be a quick stream, it's like an hour. I feel like, shout out to Joe Bob Briggs. I love him on Shudder. I was gonna say Chiller, but that was a different network a long time ago. I feel like every time he goes to like welcome the movie or he goes over his driveway totals, he'll say like roll the picture, and then like he'll talk for 5 more minutes. I feel like that sometimes. All right, we got some Daredevils coming up, so I had to send off like my 2 best Daredevil books. And by the way, still shout out to Mars Comics watching in the chat. Chris Bird says, I knew it could pop C with that comment. Of course you could. We got Daredevil 131, first appearance of the new Bullseye. So key Bullseye issue. I just happened to pick this up on a stealth buy a long time ago on eBay. So I decided it looked pretty good. And I was like, what's the worst could happen? I'll send it and get a mid-grade. Came back 7.5, so not too bad, especially for what I paid for this book. I don't remember the exact amount at this time, but probably wasn't more than like 15, 20 bucks. I think it was in a lot, so probably closer to 10 bucks by the time you break it down per issue. But yeah, pretty happy with that grade on this book. Just keeps going up to like, by the time I got these books back, oh, Charlie Cox is Daredevil again. So let's start hyping up all those books again in terms of value. But my key Daredevils, I'm definitely keeping all of those too. This is mostly like I'm going to keep I think these are like I'm going to keep this lot. Like I don't know if there's, sorry, poor man's, I don't think there's a single one of these I was planning on selling. So especially this last one. This was a gift from my brother a long time ago, probably like almost 15 plus years ago. I'd probably want the book back now based on this grade. So, and if you guys follow me on Instagram, you already showed this one over there. But yeah, I sent off my first appearance of Elektra, Daredevil 168. My brother actually, a long time ago, he knew I like Frank Miller because we exchanged gifts with the Dark Knight Returns. I have them all up there. Those were a gift from him as well. Then he followed it up with this like the next Christmas. And he pretty much gave me like that entire Elektra run. I think he just got off a really good buy on eBay back like 15, 20 years ago. So he probably got them for a few bucks a piece probably. So I decided to go ahead and send this in. I didn't never plan on selling it. It was just a gift I got. Turned out to be a big key book. I might as well go ahead and get it slabbed, give it the full pressing treatment just to take care of the gift I got. and it came back at 9.4. So this is probably by far the best book I got back in this lot. So I was pretty astonished this came back that high of a grade. So this one's definitely going in my glass case, to say the least. So extremely happy with this one. This made the whole CGC lot for me. So now I just got to decide. I think I'm going to send another, I'm probably going to send them more books. I'm just going to press them first, obviously, because at least they showed with this one, they can get stuff graded fairly quick. It was the pressing that killed the momentum of this lot. I probably would have been showing these books like 8 or 9 months ago if it wasn't for CCS, basically. And who knows what kind of grade they would have came back then. It's really hard to tell with these things, like if CCS indeed increases that grade or not, or they see it came from like, oh, it's a CCS guy, we got to take care of him. Something like that, you never know. Clearly, with at least 2 of those books, they didn't take care of anything. All right. Legend says, 9.4, that's a beautiful book. Chris Barrett says, I love the fact that you have a glass case display in your house. I do. I do. It was a gift as well. So that's where I keep my best of the best slabs. I got this stuff back here, but that's why you don't see like giant size X-Men. And is the Turtles one still back? No, I finally moved the Turtles one. I think the best one I got up here now, I don't know. Probably the first Kitty Pryde, first Emma Frost. You can't see. Chair's kind of blocking it. Anyway, we're going to keep moving on because we got one more slide. We got another glass caser to talk about here. Legend says, Chris, every comment you make pops me, brother. All right. So I actually did go to my comic shop this week. They didn't have any of the vintage comic Monday. So I just went on a normal Thursday because I had Thursday off. And actually did go a couple weeks ago, and this book, he advertised it on Instagram, my local shop owner did, and the price and everything, but he never sold it, and this stuff was never put on the counter for whatever reason. It was just in a box behind the counter, and I don't ask questions, don't know why. I just asked, hey, is this book available? In the first week I went, I'm like, I don't know. I was just getting ready to go C2E2. I didn't want to blow my C2E2 budget then. But 2 weeks later, I got paid, and I was like, hey, they still have this book. I may as well take that as a sign that I'm just going to go ahead and pick up this book. This was not a cheap book. This was a triple figure purchase, a low triple figure purchase. Luckily, I didn't. $150. We'll just throw the number out there. So there you go. $150. But I thought this one was worth it because I could barely find this book raw at that. So got the king size special, Incredible Hulk annual number 1, 3.5. So not too bad. And I didn't even realize until I got it home, someone threw the custom label on that bad boy too. So this thing, like, what is it, like 10 or $20 to get one of these? And that's, if you're lucky, they don't retire it. And it matches the cover, of course, even though I don't know why they decided, I guess just because I didn't want him like facing the logo or like going into the logo. I don't know. But obviously he's facing 2 different directions here. But nonetheless, I've been looking for this book for years. I've been wanting to get it in the collection. I think like when I used to do like the best or like my most wanted list for like 2018 or 2019 or what have you, I'd always have this. I think I put this book on the list, the first list I did, and just never I never pushed it forward onto the next list. I said I wanted these books plus 10 more. And I never captured this book. So luckily now all that has changed. And I just decided, you know what? I'm tired of looking for this book. I'm probably not going to be able to buy it raw at that price. 3.5, it probably is close to worth that. Maybe a little bit, this book probably a little bit worth more than I paid for. But I was very happy. I don't have to pay $15 shipping to somebody. I didn't have to pay to get this graded. Is the main thing. I didn't have to turn this over for months. I do not like experimenting with pressing these like 60s and 70s giant size books because the staples located in weird spots down there. So a lot of hassle free now because I bought this book from my local shop. So very happy to have this one in the collection. I've been looking for it for a very long time. Legend says, I think they fixed the FF late. Yeah, like now you can see the thing. That's great. So I'll have to see if there's any Fantastic Four worth sending. I don't know. I'll have to look through the collection. I wouldn't mind getting one Fantastic Four custom label book done before they decide we need to retire that label or change it. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Legend. I think that's a Jack Kirby Fantastic Four you can get on there. If it's not, I might just wait for a Kirby FF, or maybe they'll do it Mike Weir and go. That'd be one I would for sure get. All right, we're gonna go ahead and just talk some pickups now. And I do have a few reads in here. Like I said, I just hadn't had a chance to read tons. Chris Barrett says that custom label adds about $15 of value to the book. Good information there. We'll go ahead and start with some half-price book stuff. It's been a little dry at the half-price books lately, got to be honest. I feel like I had some really good success, got a lot of good cheap stuff, found some of those Gen 13 variant covers from, the mid-90s when they did the first ongoing. I never even showed those. I'll have to find those and show them at some point. Should have brought those upstairs for this haul, but anyway, I just completely forgot. But anyway, the 20-cent bins have been getting a little light, but I've still found a couple things here and there. So for 20 cents, found this. I think, this is New Avengers issue number 10. This is kind of like the second arc of the Brian Bendis New Avengers run. This one was actually done with Steve McNiven, I believe. The first arc was with David Finch. The second arc was the Century Run with Steve McNiven. And they did this like 1 in 10 series of variants done by Neil Adams. And this is the third set from that set of variants. So got the Century there. Wouldn't mind having at least, I think issue 7 starts. I guess this would be the 4th probably then. I forgot to start with, I think, issue 7, not issue 8. But yeah, 20 cents. They definitely didn't know this was a Marvel comic. They at least would have priced it at $1 if they did, because usually the Marvel stuff doesn't get put in the 20-cent bins. It's usually thrown out for $1. Found a Walking Dead random issue 169. It's like, for 20 cents, I'll buy a Walking Dead. I love this series. So did that. Some Brian Boland newsstand, Wonder Woman, issue 95. Slowly trying to run through all the Brian Bolans from this 90s run. A lot of great covers in there. Didn't have this one. Let me sort some stuff here. I know the Legend. He's still in the chat. He's going to like this next set of books. I actually found a full run of books. 4-issue miniseries. Shazam, A New Beginning. I've never read this one. I'm kind of excited to check this one out finally. So they actually had all 4 issues in the $1 bin. So I'm like, I was all over that. So I have like most of the other Shazam number 1s, I think, at this point. Aside from the Golden Age stuff, obviously, I have the CC Beck stuff, the Jerry Ordway stuff. God, I couldn't think there for a second. Of course, the Jeff Johns stuff later down the line. But I missed out on the late 80s, early 90s, or 87 to be exact. So never read this. Kind of looking forward to it. I'll be completely honest. So there you go. New beginning for Shazam. Back to Young Avengers. We were talking about that earlier. I found I believe this is either the last or close to the last issue of Young Avengers Volume 2. Really good read once again. Like, if you like the first run of Avengers with the Jim Chung art, Jamie McKelvey may have almost basically topped him with his art in his Young Avengers run. Not to mention the Kieran Gillen writing. Really like Volume 2. Don't sleep on the Volume 2 stuff. I know they're using all the characters from the first one, but really good run right here as well. Highly recommend it. We got Bub's Comics. They changed your name back to Bub's Comics. Weren't you Bub's World like 2 weeks ago? Nice to see Bub's Comics in the chat. Did I win the giveaway? Sure, I'll give you some air. Sorry, I got no jokes tonight. It's been a long day, man. Happy to see Bubs in the chat. Chris Barrett says, yeah, Bubs, you owe us $5. Going back to the pickups. I think everything else is just local shop pickups for the week. Got this free Sandman number half 1. It says collecting an excerpt from the first chapter of Sandman book 1. So it's a freebie, not even a full first issue, but that was a pretty jam-packed first issue from the original Sandman. That used to be back there, but now that's got put in the glass case too. Issue 8, I believe. But yeah, I figured it's free. Why not? Really enjoy the series. This has been picking up a lot of heat, and I don't know if my shop just forgot this was laying on the shelf. Got the 1 in 10, 8 billion genies. Not the best cover. It was some random photo cover of some guy named Andrew Divoff. Don't really know. Apparently the series is pretty good. I like Charles Soule. Ryan Brown's pretty awesome too. Local Chicago artist. See him at every C2E2 I go to. But yeah, I figured like this book's picking up momentum. I want to check it out. And this was the only copy of issue 1. All printings they had in the store. So just threw that in the pile, even though didn't really like paying $12.99, but it is the 1 in 10. So got a ratio cover for almost ratio. Bub says, first person to notice mentioned the name change. Maybe you just won my giveaway. Ha ha! I won the giveaway. We'll just call it even on the giveaways. Here's one I'm looking forward to reading because you know me, I like my wrestling. And Chris Barrett, you might like this one too. Do a Power Bomb by Daniel Warren Johnson. Now he had some really cool art featuring this at C2E2. I feel like I missed out by not having already read this book and going and meeting him at C2E2. But this is on the shelf this week, so I decided to throw it in the pile next to 8 Billion Genies. Another one I'm really looking forward to checking out and reading because we covered the first volume on Modern Men on the Comic Core channel. It's still out there in the internet mythos, whatever, somewhere. Shirtless Bear Fighter Volume 2, number 1. So happy to see this book back. The first volume was tons of fun. I debated if I just want to build up like I'm assuming it's going to be a 6-issue mini. Wouldn't mind just reading them all together, but I'll at least go ahead and give this one a read. Maybe probably just going to go and put it on the pull list. Or maybe I'll just wait for the trade to come out. I don't know. We'll see what I think of that. But nonetheless, I know it's going to be great. I just forgot to take this next one off the pull list. Either that or I did. My local shop just completely forgot. And because I haven't read this book for a while, Prodigy by Mark Millar, forgot it was still coming out. I just noticed it when I got home. I didn't even put it in I just put it in a regular bag and board, not the Mylar like the rest of the new stuff. So I need to go drop that next time for sure. Chris Barrett's asking if I ever read the Al Snow comic book. I still have not. I need to do that at some point, it sounds like. Dark Crisis, still going on. Young Justice number 3 spinoff. I thought this was going to be a 3-issue. I did kind of flip through this because I was trying to multitask before starting the stream. It's not over after 3 issues. I'm not sure how long they're going to run this thing for. But yeah, I've at least been enjoying the covers and the art. I like my classic Young Justice characters drawn like they were in the 90s and early 2000s. So there's that. Story, yeah. Hopefully it goes somewhere soon. I did flip through this one quite a bit before starting the stream. Batman One Bad Day, the Riddler, Tom King, Mitch Gerads. Now, really cool art. I would say Mitch Gerads is the star of this show here. Really enjoyed if you liked his, if you've read his Strange Adventures stuff, and of course the Mr. Miracle stuff, highly recommend this one. Gerads knocks it out of the park on this book for sure. Batman's story wasn't too bad. Basically, it intersplices between like current events of Riddler just being a creepy little bastard and killing a lot of people in the process of breaking out of jail, and going into his origin with an abusive father and having to deal with this awful upbringing, and Batman being the one in the middle trying to put the pieces together and all of this stuff. So there we go. Tom King, another one here. I just picked it up for the Frizen cover, basically. Flip through it. No, it's not going to be for me. It's called Love Everlasting. This is Tom King's tribute to the love comics and the romance comics of like the 50s after the superhero stuff died down after World War II. I think this was just his tribute to that. So I decided to pick it up. That was kind of a cool cover. Read's not for me though. We got to get into the chat here. Let's see what we got going on. I think this is, we got a multiple part joke here. So Legend says, fist loving them books. I'm sure there's a typo there, but then Bubs retorts with, Carson is big on fist loving. Always love the multi-part jokes in the chats. Poor Man says, I think there's a new Ric Flair comic coming out. Hopefully, there's one. Maybe they should do one printed in his blood like the Kiss comic because that guy likes to play jobs. We got Comic Core in the chat. What's going on? I'm assuming that's got to be Chad says, hey, yo, what's popping? Did my best Chad impression there. Hopefully, Chad, you're still doing great. Mars Comics says, I think I have to go back for that book. I just skipped it. I'm assuming we're talking about the One Bad Day. Yeah, I mean, it has got a price tag on it, though. I mean, you can either wait to read it digitally or, I'm assuming they're going to collect this later in trades with the other One Bad Day stuff. But I think it was like an $8 cover price, just to warn you. It is a very nice format. It is basically like a mini trade. But yeah, watch out for that price. But if you're a big fan of Tom King and Miss Gerads, don't miss out on it for sure. Everyone's just saying hi to Barrett and Chad. Chris Barrett has 2 jobs now? I thought the only job you were doing was on The Hunt. Friday nights at 11 o'clock on the Tony Sanders channel. Cheap Pops. Love it. Are you still on The Hunt, Barrett? I need to catch that at some point. We got some Harley Quinns coming up because I guess there's dropping these Harley Quinns on a weekly basis now. We got some Ryan Sook variants. Thought these were really cool, so I picked them up. And I always like reading the Harley stuff as well. Got the issue 19 with the first Robin cover swipe there. And then we got the first Batgirl cover swipe there on Harley number 20. So excited to get this cover set. They've been a lot of fun so far. And then I think we finally the last book of tonight's haul because I'm ready to go relax in the recliner and stop sweating under this light here. We got some Deceased War of the Undead Gods. I have no idea where they're at on Deceased. I actually flipped through this before the stream. And apparently, like, people have been brought back from the dead now. They found a way, and I guess that was like the last two Deceased. I kind of fell off after, like, there was like 2 volumes of Deceased. I think after that second one, I cut it off because they just kept coming out with these things. And I just kind of like this cover. I always liked X-Men #1, so I had to have this. And it's like, I kind of want to crack it open, see where they're at in the Deceased world. Because this is almost like, you know, one of those multiverses that have taken off, kind of like the White Knight stuff. Now we got Tom Taylor's Deceased world or universe or whatever you want to call it. And apparently everyone's just been brought back so they can kill them all off again. Like Superman's got like a robot arm. I'm assuming he's like half Brainiac, half Superman now or something. I don't know because I missed a lot of it. And I guess I need to get with Great Legend and get that DC app back going so I can catch up on some Deceased action. But I always like Tom Taylor. I think he's basically like, you know, everyone hypes up Tom King as like maybe DC's best writer. I think Tom Taylor might have the crown as DC's best guy right now between like some of the stuff he's doing like this and Nightwing. Like Nightwing, the first trade I read, that was excellent. So I'm definitely have to get that second hardcover on there. So let's check the chat one more time and then we're going to go ahead and call it a night here and see what's going on in the realm of the comic collecting land. I don't know what that sentence was. We're just going to go to the chat. Same old Chad, got 2 jobs now. We already went that. Chris Barrett says he's still doing the job. J.O.B. on the hunt. Bub says Chris Barrett turning tricks, parking cars at the same hotel. It's really only one job. And you get Barrett and Bub in the same room. There's just bound to be trouble. No, Bubs. I process metal, work at the metal. So wait a minute. Hold on here. You're telling me you work for the man. Do you know a guy named Jason Smith? Oh, man. If Chris Barrett and Jason Smith work together, that would make my life. Chris Barrett says, I gave up a shifty line of work, Bubs. All right. With that, we're going to go ahead and sign off here. Big thank you guys for joining me here tonight. We'll be back. I'm going to try to be back next week, actually. I'm going to try to do a whole episode dedicated just to the turtle stuff I've been collecting. So if you notice, like, all these hauls I've been doing with these and slabs and all that, like, I've purposely not been showing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I've been amassing so much Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff that I'm going to have a whole separate show basically just of TMNT. So that'll hopefully be next Friday around this same time. I seem to have this same time off every week until I decide to make it a regular thing, and then I won't probably. So, yeah. Chris Barrett says, I don't work for great grandpa Jason Smith. And Buzz with the smiles. But yeah, definitely join me next week. And then I'll have some thoughts on my whatnot buying experiences as well. So I got a few things I'm going to talk about. And who knows what else I'll find before now and then. I'm sure I'll buy like 100 comics for some reason. But big thank you guys for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that fun garbage in the comments and such. So give me thumbs, hearts, whatever they're doing now. Thumbs downs. You can do that too. That'd be cool. I'm just looking for the banner while I talk. So newsstand.